Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to look at getting started with the Aeldari in Warhammer 40,000, focusing on the Guardian Battlehost detachment. Today's video is sponsored by Gap Games, a fantastic miniature wargaming store in Queensland, Australia. They stock a wide variety of miniature wargames from all things Games Workshop to some of my personal favourites, Conquest, The Last Argument of Kings, and all things Modifius wargames as well. Use our affiliate code in the link below to help support both this fantastic store and the channel as well. And so the first thing we're going to look to add to our force is a Farseer. This Aeldari psychic has a nice range attack of the Eldritch Storm, a blast psychic power with d6 shots, obviously more if it's targeting large units, strength 6, minus 2 AP and damage d3. This is great at taking out Space Marines and other heavy troops. You've also got the option of a Singing Spear or Witchblade in combat. The Singing Spear does have a shooting profile as well, and the Singing Spear is a damage 3 weapon. Meanwhile, the Witchblade does have anti-infantry 2+ on it. Now you've got the Branching Fates rule, where once per phase you can change the result of a hit, wound or damage roll to 6. This can't be done on any of your support weapons. And the Guide Psychic power allows you to pick an enemy unit and give +1 to hit to all Aeldari units that target that particular unit. The model can also lead a variety of different units from both your Guardian units, pretty cool in this detachment, and Warlock conclaves as well. Speaking of a Warlock, that's where we're going to look next. This is another Aeldari psychic that has the Destructor psychic power at range, a strength 5 minus 1 AP damage 1 torrent weapon that can get a boost from the Psychic Communion rule, which gives them an extra attack for every other friendly psychic nearby to a maximum of +2. Like the Farseer, it's got the option of a Singing Spear and Witchblade, and it's also got Runes of Fortune, where each time an enemy unit declares a charge, if you're targeting the unit that has this Warlock in it, they have to subtract 2 from the charge roll. A pretty cool debuff. And this model can join Guardian Defenders or Storm Guardian units, and can actually still join those units even if an Autarch or Farseer is already attached to those squads. Now, the next character we're going to look at is the Autarch that was just mentioned in the Warlock chat there. Now, Autarchs can have a wide variety of different weaponry, taking Reaper launchers, fusion guns or fusion pistols, death spinners, and even shuriken pistols as well. In combat, they've also got a wide variety of weapons, from Banshee Blades with their anti-infantry of 3+ rule, Scorpion's Chainswords which pack out a load of attacks, or the damage 3 Starglaive. Now, aspect training is a pretty cool rule for these models, where when they have a Howling Banshee unit and they join them, you get fights first, and joining Striking Scorpions, they'll actually get Infiltrators, Scouts, 7-inch on them as well. That's not really going to be apparent in this particular list as we're focusing on Guardians. The Superlative Strategist rule, though, is going to allow us to reroll advanced rolls while he's leading a unit, and we can also reroll any rolls made when we're performing agile maneuvers. Really cool, because Guardians are that little bit more squishy. Now, Path to Command is another cool one as well, because this means we can use stratagems on our unit and get a reduced cost of them. The Autarch can lead a wide variety of different units, from a bunch of different aspect units to both the different types of Guardians as well. And so, moving on to units, our first unit is the Guardian Defenders. This is one of 2 types of Guardian units we have, and these are essentially the ranged option for Guardians. They're armed with Shuriken Catapults, which are a 2-shot strength 4, minus 1 AP damage, 1 assault weapon, with an 18-inch range, but they can also take a support weapon, heavy weapon platform with them that can have a variety of different heavy weapons, from Bright Lancers, Missile Launchers, Scatter Lancers, and even Shuriken Cannons as well. Now, their Fleet of Foot special rule means this unit can perform the Fade by Agile maneuver without spending a battle focus token, and it can do so even if other units have already done that particular agile maneuver as well. Now, crude platform, like I said, when the last Guardian model from this unit is destroyed, the support weapon will disappear when that model disappears as well. The other option for Guardians are the Storm Guardians, though, and the Storm Guardians are more close combat focused, not necessarily in combat, though you can arm up to 2 of them with power swords. They're generally short range firepower, so they can be armed with, per 10, 2 flamers within the unit and 2 fusion guns, giving them a nice variety of roles that they can perform. Their Stormblade special rule means at the end of your command phase, if they're within range of an objective, you'll keep controlling an objective until your opponent takes it off you. And like the Guardian Defenders, they also have a crude weapon platform, but this time the Serpent Shield platform, giving the bearer's unit a 5+ invulnerable save. Our next infantry unit is then Dire Avengers. These are the most common of all the aspect warriors in the Aeldari force. Now, Dire Avengers are pretty decent. They've got a 5+ invulnerable save thanks to their aspect armor, and the Autarch, their unit leader, even has 2 wounds. They're armed with Avenger Shuriken catapults, which are 4-shot Shuriken catapults, and they've also got the ability to give their Autarch, their unit leader, a couple of different combat weapons, from Dire Swords, which are -2 AP with 4 attacks, or a Power Glaive, which is strength 5 -3 AP, though has less attacks than the previous Dire Sword. You have the Blade Storm ability for them as well, where if they're within half range, they get sustained hits 1, further boosting that already impressive amount of shots the unit has. And they can take Aspect Shrine tokens as well, which can allow you to get some hits or wounds through by spending them. The Shimmer Shield as well is another option for your unit leader, and this can give the Autarch a 4+ invulnerable save. Now, sometimes we are going to want to transport these rather fragile units that we have for the Aeldari, especially with the Guardians and Dire Avengers relying on that 5+ save. They're fragile, so having a dedicated transport like a Wave Serpent is a good option to not only give them a little bit of extra speed, but also some protection. Wave Serpents have a 5+ invulnerable save themselves, but more importantly a toughness 9 and a 3+ save with 13 wounds. Wave Serpents can be equipped with a twin heavy weapon on top, which can be all your standard heavy weapon options that we've gone through. This is things like scatter lasers, shuriken cannons, etc. And they can also even have an underslung shuriken cannon as well, instead of their twin shuriken catapult there. Their Wave Serpent Shield rule means they actually are harder to wound if your opponents are higher strength than the model, making them a -1 to wound rolls if the strength is higher than the toughness characteristic of the model. They can transport up to 12 Aeldari infantry, so generally can transport a full squad of something like Guardians or Dire Avengers, along with even a Warlock and Farseer, both attached to a squad of Guardians if they decide to do so. Next are Warwalkers. These are another unit that get a lot of buffs from the Guardian Battlehost. Warwalkers are a light walker unit with toughness 7, 3+ save, 6 wounds, 5+ invulnerable save there as well is nice, and are equipped with 2 different heavy weapons mounted on their shoulders. These can be all the different options we normally have with heavy weapons, and they've got Scouts 9-inch as well to make sure they can get those shots in nice and early. The crystalline targeting rule means in your shooting phase after this unit's shot, you can select one enemy unit hit by one or more of the attacks. Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly Aeldari unit makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, you can improve the AP of those attacks by 1. This is really cool because it helps your other units get that a little bit better, so taking these in smaller units, getting as many of this as possible onto the different units you want to, is a great way to play with your walkers. And lastly, we have the D cannon platform. Now, the weapon platforms are a really cool thing, and something that changed in the latest Aeldari book is allowing them to join your units of Guardian Defenders. D cannons are probably my favourite. They're definitely the most expensive option of them, but you do get a 24-inch blast devastating wounds weapon with indirect fire as well, meaning it doesn't need to actually see what it's shooting at. D3 shots, ballistic skill 3+, strength 16, -4 AP, and damage D6+2. It's a really heavy hitting piece. And what's cool is that indirect fire means you don't have to expose the unit all that much. Now, like I said, the support artillery rule means you can join Guardian Defenders, which is really cool, though the Guardian Defenders can't embark on a transport if this model does join them. And your support weapon rule means each time attack targets this model's unit, it will be counted as toughness 3, so it doesn't affect the toughness of the units to join. But also, thanks to structural collapse, each time a model makes an attack with its D cannon, you can reroll damage rolls in 1. If that attack targets a Titanic unit, you can actually just reroll the damage roll entirely. And so our force, the Aeldari today, will be playing with the Guardian Battlehost attachment. This gives us the Defender or Cost rule. Each time a Dire Avenger, Guardian, support weapon or Warwalker unit from your army makes an attack, if that model's unit and the target unit are within range of one or more objective marks, you can add on to the hit roll. So this really just helps you play the objective game nice and strong with all your different units. For characters then, we have our Warlord as an Autarch with Dragon Fusion Gun, Starglaive, and the enhancement, the Breath of Vul. This boosts up the power of a Storm Guardian unit the model will join. And then our Farseer with Singing Spear and a Warlock with Singing Spear as well. The reason we've got these is they're longer range weapons, and these are probably going to go in our Guardian Defender squad. For Battle Line, we then have our Guardian Defenders with 10 models in the unit and a missile launcher weapon platform. Meanwhile, with Storm Guardians, 10 models in the unit, 2 flames, 2 fusion guns, and 2 power swords in the unit as well. For infantry, we then have our Dire Avenger squad with 10 models in the unit. The Dire Avenger Exarch is equipped with 2 Shuriken catapults, and we've got 2 shrine tokens on them as well. And then we have our D cannon platform as well. For vehicles, we have 2 units of Warwalkers. Each of these models is going to be equipped with a missile launcher and bright lance. And then lastly, dedicated transports, we have a Wave Serpent with twin bright lance and Shuriken cannon. We hope that you found this video helpful in getting started with Warhammer 40,000, and that it was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any further questions, please comment down below, and while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and join our Discord server to check out all of our future Warhammer 40,000 content.